be introducing the program and the opportunity. We're going to, sorry about that. We're going to have some special guests tonight, and they're going to take a little time and share some wisdom with you. And we've got some people that are really have made an incredible commitment, are truly loyal, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for those people that are loyal to you, loyal to the company, loyal to their families, and doing some great things and see great things happening. And so, you know, we've asked some people to come on tonight and share what they do, what they know has worked or what is working, and what they teach their team and things to do. So our first guest, this lady right here, her and her husband have been around for many, many years with the company. They have been here. They've stuck with the company. They have done some incredible things. We appreciate their leadership. They got a great team going, and they're continuing to always build and sell and recruit and do things that are special. And one of the things that we wanted to introduce tonight is, hey, what do you do that helps me to open up the door to start to talk to people? If you've got to start somewhere, right? And that's the place to start. What do I say? What do I do? How do I build that interaction? And I don't think there's anybody better than Darlene Preston that can share that with you tonight. So, Darlene, the next 10 minutes or so are yours, and we'll turn the time over to you, and we appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and welcome everyone to the call. Harry and I are appreciative that we have an opportunity to share information, which is what helps grow your business, is sharing information. So thank you, Steve. And thanks for inviting us on tonight. I want to first start off with the mindset. So tonight's topic is extremely important, as we all know, because it'll make or break your business. It'll make or break your business. So your action and your attitude and what you do or don't do is what you feel your business is going to produce. Hopefully someone will take advantage of, sometime soon we'll be able to take advantage of all the expertise on this call tonight, because all the specific people speaking have so much experience that they can share with you all, and we can have a really detailed training rather than just sharing some ideas with you tonight. So again, thank you so much. We're talking about introducing the program and or the opportunity, and I'm glad we put and or, because when you talk to people, it is an and or, because you really don't know where that person is, where their head is, what they're looking for, what they want. Now, as Steve mentioned, Harry and I have been around for quite some time. We've been around the program, and we've tried a lot of different things, and we've tweaked our procedure and how we're doing things. And people ask that question, and I'm sure it'll be answered tonight. You know, do you recruit to sell or sell to recruit? And the answer is yes. And, you know, when I look at that, I do encourage every agent to be a product of the product. So that's definitely important. But what does this all involve? What does it involve? That's a huge question. Our thoughts and what we say play a very important role in our success. So your approach to the issue, the situation, is definitely going to make it or break it, as I had mentioned earlier. So you'll apply your thoughts to the program and to your person you're going to talk to. But I think about what people have in their head when they're going out to recruit or to prospect or whatever. I actually go out and I just live. And when the opportunity is available, I then start talking. I don't go out to look for someone. So it's definitely an attitude. So your approach, you're talking to people. You're talking to all types of people. It doesn't matter where this person lives, how old they are, how young they are they in debt or debt-free? You're talking to everyone. That can be anyone and everyone. You pick and choose who you'd like to share this with. But this is such a good message. Why would you want to hold it in? And I always will go back to the fact, do you know what you have in your hands? Do you know what you have to offer? What the good news is that you want to share? Do you know that? And it's really important that, you know, you are aware of that. So as sponsors, uplines, coaches, and all types of levels of trained professionals in this business, you can't just send out agents and say, you're a new agent, congratulations, call me if you need me. Just go out there and talk to everybody and figure it out. We cannot do that. All agents need something to base it all on. And we as trainers and sponsors and things like that, sometime in our positioning of our own business, we forget that there are steps and procedures. What do you say? You know, this business is simple, but guys, it is definitely not easy. Fortunately, our system is available to everyone, but it's not right for everyone. As we as experienced agents can tell you that. There is a question that we need to ask is, who do we talk to and who do we approach? And what do we say? That's the key right here. We need to remember when we're thinking about this is to stay out of people's pockets. Stay out of their heads, stay out of their pockets, and let's not prejudge anybody, whether someone wants or doesn't want what you're offering. You don't know whether they're going to want it or not going to want it, right? You don't know where their head is, or even if they're talking about it. A person may say, I don't have any money. But, you know, when you do the analysis, you find out they have plenty of discretionary. All right. So we're going to take them for whatever they say, but we're still going to offer the information. We are sharing information. Don't go out to sell. Don't go out to pitch. Don't go out to, I'm going to make this sale. Go out to share. And that has been one of the most successful ways of us getting the sales in. So the MMA's plan and or the UFF opportunity is not for any specific group, any specific age or location, rank, or anything like that. It's there for us to make a difference in people's lives. And when Harry and I talk about this, we keep this one word in mind, and it's called ACT. And that's for action changes things. Action changes things. And that is so true, guys. Your action will change everything. So I know when we go to these meetings, and I'm starting off, so I might as well make sure everybody is in line. Take notes, guys. One of us is going to say something that you're going to find, go, wow, I didn't think of that. Those nuggets you can use, you can review, you can share. So take notes. And then see what we're saying, hear what we're saying, and tweak it for you. For example, one of the things that I like to use is I don't go right to the person and say, I know you're in debt and you want to get out of debt, so why don't you look at our program? We've been in business for 15 years, and we do this and we do that, and it gets people out of debt in half the time or less. And you're going to throw up all over them, and they're not going to want to listen. So first of all, be nice and calm about it, and remember, you're trying to inform them. And then tweak the words that you hear in this presentation of all of us talking and make them fit you. And always, always remember what you have in your hands and what you can offer to others. And with your key of activity, that you know is going to get you paid. So as long as you're doing the right thing in the right time and continuing and following up, you will get paid. So that's going to happen as long as you present and make sure this person sees what's going on down the road, because that's the ultimate goal, is that they get an appointment and they get the analysis and they get the program, right? Isn't that the ultimate goal? But immediately, what do you want to do? You want to start the conversation. You have to have a conversation. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, whether in line, the grocery, in the bank, at home, online, whatever you're doing, you always have to figure out a way to start the conversation. So it's a matter of asking the question. So what's the thought in most people's heads? And the thought is they need wealth and they need to accumulate wealth. So the need for a wealth accumulation and debt elimination has not changed. It's just the way we share it. How will you take that message out there? Okay. And the fact is that we have to help change a mindset. And that's what the MMA does. It helps change a mindset. But they won't get there unless you start the question, the conversation. And the question will be, of course, how do we get there? The client will say, how do we get there? Or the prospect will say, how do we get there? Some of the things that you have to understand, I'm talking about mindset here, because going out and just talking and trying to get people to follow what you want them to do all starts with what's in your head and how you present it. So when you are presenting this, think about what the person's thinking about. Why is this important to me? Why is this important to me? And why do I have to listen to this person? They may even not say things. So think about, you as the agent need to think about what that prospect is not telling you. Man, they want to look at my credit report. They want to, they're going to take my house. What are they not saying? And you want to answer those questions in your conversation. What about, will this thing work? And how does it work? Let me tell you a little secret here. If they ask, how does this work? You definitely don't want to go into the details, because that's something called the valley of death. You never get back out of that thing. You want a person that wants information and they are curious, but you give them just enough information to make sure that they want to follow up with a conversation more in depth with you. So the mindset of where you start that conversation is important. Remember, people just want to know, what is this thing all about? Is it important enough for me to listen to? Is it going to help me with anything that I'm having, trouble with? And what exactly am I going to have to do to get it? That's what they're thinking about. And now we have to keep in mind that the ultimate goal is wealth, building retirement, and building savings. That's what people are thinking about. So what do, guys? We give them number one. We give them step number one, and step number one is debt elimination. Step number one is debt elimination. So yeah, we want to convince them, you need to continue thinking about wealth. That's what you're thinking about, right? Let's continue thinking about that. Let's continue thinking about your retirement and savings. And then the question will come out, how do I accomplish all of this? Well, the answer is the MMA. And what is that? Debt elimination first. So there is a process, guys, and I'm giving you a shortcut because we have a short time to do this, a little more conversation in there. But the key here is understanding the mindset of your mindset and their mindset. And remember the invitation. Okay, now you started the conversation. You got them curious. Now what are you going to do? You're now going to invite them to listen to the video, have another conversation, maybe a three-way call, a follow-up conversation. You want to go back to the basics, guys, and that conversation is your groundwork. Now, what do you have in common with this person? That's a good way to start your conversation. What is it that you have in common with them? Notice something nice maybe that's going on in the situation you're around. Pay them a compliment only if it's true. Ask their opinion, all right? But really, you have to have your heart in it. You can't just be a surface person about it. You have to have your heart in it. So when you're doing that, find that common ground. And remember, it's a matter of asking. Think about the tools you have in place. Think about the videos we have, the rapid funnel, the three-way calling, your upline, your trainers, the corporate office, your back office. All these tools will help you answer the questions that come up. But how do you start that conversation? Everybody write down form, F-O-R-M, form, family, occupation, recreation, and message, form. That's one of the things we do. Those are some of the topics that you can start a conversation with. The one I like to use is feel, felt, found. I feel what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I felt that way at one time when I first started hearing about this program. But what I have found is that it does help with the debt elimination. It takes a lot of stress off my shoulders. I didn't understand it, but I found out the way it works. I'd love to share it with you. Would it be okay if I send you a video and let's talk about this? And so that's part of the conversation that you want to start. And of course, we always have trainings that we go in a little further than that. One of the other things that you need to know, you're inviting them and you want to have information for them, but you also need to know what might they ask? What are some of the questions and objections that occur? I've seen this on something like this on the internet, or it costs too much, or I can do this myself. Sounds too good to be true. What about my poor uncle is telling me this is a bad program, or my neighbor or my accountant says this or says that. These are things that they will say. Have any of you on this call heard any of these things? Of course you did. So what I want everybody to understand is that your success comes from your action. Your attitude needs to be in the right place, and you have to be fully armed with the information about why you're doing what you're doing and what's in your hands. What do you have to offer? And how will you approach the situation? Now, all the other speakers will talk about some of the terms that they use. But guys, you have to keep this in mind. Each person, when you address them, you're going to have different things to say to them. I may talk to this person about one thing and that person about another, but I'm still want to come back to the conversation to do what? Get that appointment set, right? Why? So they can follow on through to get their analysis. So remember, don't let that conversation start off with you procrastinating and you not giving them all the things that they need without throwing up on them. You want to give them enough information to allow them to get to the next stages so they're no longer wishing, wanting, and waiting to fix a problem that you have the answers to. So at the end of the day, one small thing that you can do to make a difference is to talk with somebody. Start a conversation. Go back to some of those people you might have talked to before and ask them to take a second look. One small thing to make today better than yesterday. Please start a conversation. So I might have gone over a minute or two. Oh, I'm right in time. So Steve, let me turn it back over to you. I have so much more to share, but on this this limited time frame, I hope that was enough to wet everybody's whistle. Start the conversation, guys.
Hey, Darlene, that was fantastic. Listen, I'm an old school kind of person. I take notes. I took a whole page full of notes. So I'm going to tell you what you gave us was plenty good stuff. I really enjoyed it. I'll tell you, you know, a lot of things don't change over time. You know what? You mentioned form, then you mentioned feel, felt, found. Those are things that I learned 40 years ago. And they still work today. We can't forget those things. It's not like, oh, that doesn't work anymore. It worked 40 years ago. No, it still does. And I mean, you talked about keeping it the basics, opening the conversation. You know, it's not what you're interested in. It's what are they interested in? You know, what are they looking for? And sharing that with people. So you made some great points in here. Inform people. Don't just talk to them, but inform them, teach them. You know, your ultimate goal is to go in there and really help them accumulate wealth, and they have to do that first by starting off paying off debt. I mean, the consistency of what you're teaching and what you're saying, we really can't hear it enough, because when you hear something over and over and over again, that means that it's true, that it works, that it's the right thing. So, hey, fantastic job. We appreciate the time that you took and sharing that with us, and we're looking forward to have you on in the future. Thank you so much, Darlene.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Okay. Hey, this next person that we have coming on, Flavio Jimenez. Flavio is a guy, some of you maybe know Flavio, maybe some of you don't know him, but let me tell you, this guy is an absolute stud. He knows this business. He knows people. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to communicate. He has fantastic communication and teaching skills. He's been off for a little bit, but he came back in his first month, back in doing some things. He's already recruited 15 people in his first month. And, folks, we got 2 more weeks left of the month. I can't wait to hear from him. I am looking forward to it. And so are you there, Flavio?
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, my friend, and yourself?
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. And
if you want to use your camera, you can to show yourself. You're welcome to do that. It's up to you.
That's fine. I think the picture is better. I can't scare people by going live, so that's okay.
Okay, my friend. Well, the next 10 minutes is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You know, I'm going to start talking about the opportunity, not as a client, because you know what the MMA does for people, and you know what MMA does for the client financially, and the debt elimination, all that stuff. So I did recruit 15 people. I think I did it in 2 days or 2 or 3 days. And the first thing that I'm going to tell you guys about this is when you talk to people, you need to be very conscious of the current situation right now. No, we have a lot of unemployment. We have people talking only negative things for the most part, and people are afraid of what's going on right now. So you need to listen. You need to start a conversation. You know, sooner or later, they're going to talk about unemployment and how money is tight right now, and how the opportunities are less and less. And you need to be present on their conversation. You need to be and try to step into their shoes and see what are the things they're thinking of. And then, you know, once you hear that everything is pretty much negative for them and everything is going bad, you need to ask them. And I ask them 3 questions, and I ask them, what are you going to do to reframe yourself? What is it that you're going to do to see the life as it is? Don't put more on whatever it is. Don't take nothing, less on whatever that is. If we have 15% unemployment or 17 or whatever it is in your local city, that's what it is. There's nothing you can do about it. What is it that you're going to do to eliminate your fear? What can I help you with so you don't have to be blaming yourself on something that you have no control? What is it you're going to do to reframe everything? What is it going to do for money? What are the chances or the steps that you're taking to do something different? This may be your chance. I know a guy who has been working in the same job for 22 years. 22 years. And you can say that as an accomplishment, and it is, 22 years for the same company, so you can say that that is a very loyal employee for the company. And then you ask him, or I did ask him, what is it that you're looking forward to? And he goes, to be 65 years old. And then, why is that? Well, at 65, I can retire with full benefits because I really hate my job. I've been doing it just to retire at 65. So in other words, he's being imprisoned by his own will. And people, I read somewhere that 85% of employees hate their job. They don't like what they're doing. So when I listen to people and I say, what are you doing to reframe? What is it that you're doing to reframe? Which is question number 1. I ask him, are you really doing what you like to do? What will you do, for free if you're going to do something that you really love? And for the most part, they say, I will do, I don't know, bake. Today I talked to a young lady. She said, I will dance all my life. I will put a dancing academy so I can teach people how to dance salsa. And I go, okay, so why are you not doing it? And she didn't have a response. A lot of people you will find to say, you know what, I would like to help people. In what capacity? I don't know, anything, just to help. And then I say, well, what if you find something to help them and then on top of that, you get paid? It will be a lot of satisfaction for you to do something that you really like, which is helping people, and you're also going to get paid. But what is it you're going to do to reframe yourself? So if you guys are here, ask yourself that question. We are living in the same pandemic that we have right now. We're dealing with this coronavirus. We're being at home for 30, 40, 45 days, or if not more. And this is a great opportunity to really ask yourself, what is it you're going to do to reframe yourself? Be neutral. Don't put anything more. Don't take anything from it. Just eliminate the fear. Don't have any fear. Eliminate the blame and the resentment that you have. Just take your life as it is. This is my life. This is what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. This is it. How are you going to reframe yourself? That's what I ask my potential agent when I start talking to them. Question number 2, how do you recalculate? You need to recalculate everything that you have right now. We have 15% unemployment or 16% here in Las Vegas. I'm based in Las Vegas. So we are the second city with the highest unemployment. We just behind Hawaii. But right now we are at 26% unemployment here locally in Las Vegas. So, okay, well, I reframe myself. We need to recalculate what am I going to do? What are the things that I need to do different? If I'm gonna wait for the unemployment check to come, and that's everything that I'm gonna do, Houston, you have a problem. What is it you're gonna do to reframe yourself? A lot of people make a big mistake. They keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. and that's a big mistake. If I recall correctly, that's very close to insanity. So you need to find out exactly what is it that you want and how you're going to get it. Now, I encourage you to watch the movie about this guy. I don't remember the movie now, but I just recall it. This is the story about McDonald's. Remember McDonald's, the guy? A movie came out last year, I believe. Okay, the movie is The Founder. That's the name of the movie. You should see that movie. This guy had a very clear image of what he wants to accomplish. He did all his money not by selling cheeseburgers and Big Macs. He did all his money in real estate. He did it so by making money selling cheeseburgers. Now, when I talk to my potential recruits, I ask them, now that you have your life, whatever it is right now, what's the new calculation? What is it that you're going to do and how you're going to get there? What if I teach you a way for you to create something, income, helping people make income so you can fulfill your dreams? You need to recalculate everything that you're doing right now in order for you to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish right now. So that's the second question that I've been asking lately. The third question that I've been asking is recovery. I get it. We're in this boat together. We need to endure. We need to, put our chest to the bullets. We need to make sure that this is going to pass. Yes, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait 2-3 months here in quarantine, and I'm going to wait for the jobs to come back. I'm going to wait. I cannot wait for this social distancing. I'm going to endure. I'm going to take it. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to hold it. I'm not going to break. Yeah, I get that. And that's very understandable. But are you recovering? What is it you're going to do to recover? What books are you going to read to recover? What is it that you're going to do different to recover? I get it. You're a tough person. And good for you. You will never break. You will never give up. Good for you. Resilience. That's great. Good for you. But do you have the time to recover? Are you going to wake up, about, this pandemic and this virus, and then when you wake up, are you going to be doing the same things that you were doing before this? If the answer is yes, well, good for you. I'm glad that you're happy for whatever you have and the $5,000 that you have in the bank or whatever that is. I'm happy for you if that's what you want. But if you're tired of that, what is it you're going to do to recover? What is it you're going to do to become better? That's my 3 questions that I have. And that's a very, very good conversation. You get to know people. You will find out the 50, in the last 3 weeks, I found out that 50% of the people that I talk to, they have the same worries, the same issues, the same dreams, a bigger house, a better income. If they're parents, they wanted to make sure they send their kids to college. Everybody has something similar. That's the status quo, right? Everybody wants the same thing. They just don't know how to get it. They just don't know how to get it. Now, the thing that you need to understand, I'm a real estate broker. That's the thing that I've been doing for 22 years. So when I talk to my agents and when I talk to the people that I'm going to sell the MMA program, I don't talk about, this is going to make you rich. I don't sell the program. That's the thing. Don't sell it. Do not sell the MMA program. Don't sell it. No, you don't want to be a car salesperson. You're not selling furniture. You're not selling cars. Hell, you're not even selling a house, even though this is a great product to pay off the house. You're not selling that. You need to sell something that is not there. You need to sell the intangible. When I talk to my clients about this, and I ask them the very good questions, how do you see yourself in 10 years from now? What will you do different if you have your property paid off? all your debts, 0 debts, what will you do? And then I listen. And I say, you know what? This can be achieved. This is very simple. You can do that. I can teach you how. Don't sell it. When I have people coming to my office and say, you know what, I want to be part of your team. I know you've been teaching people how to pay their debt faster. I wanted to be part of it. And I ask them one question, why you want to do it? Well, I've heard it's good money. And I say, well, if you're doing it for the money, I'm not your guy. I don't want you in my team. You know, do it to help others. And by doing that, you will make a lot of money. If you're doing it for the money, that means if you're going to hear 10 no's when you go knock on the doors or call or whatever you want to do to get clients, if you hear no, 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 I'm not interested, it sounds too good to be true, I don't think it's worth it, not right, I just did my math, it's not possible what you're saying. No, no, if you hear no 10, 20 times in a matter of a month or month and a half and you make no money and you came into this business because of the money, guess what? You're going to just give it away. You're going to give up. Now, if you come into the business to make sure you're going to be helping people, you know, the no is actually a good thing. They say no, and you're going to go, okay, I'm going to find the yes because I really need to help someone. And they say no again, and you get excited. You know, I was recruited by Dr. Joan Haakonstad. She's going to talk to you, I think, after me. And she told me a few years back, she said, Flavio, you're going to call 100 people. I said, check, done, I'll do that. Out of 100 people, 10 are going to show interest. And I go, well, okay, that's 10%. You know, that's kind of cool. 10% is good. Out of those 10, 5 are going to come to you so you can do the analysis. And I go, okay, well, that's 5%. That's still kind of cool. Out of those 5, 3 are going to show interest on the results of the analysis. And I go, okay, I'm not liking it anymore, but okay, 3% is workable. And then she said, out of those 3, 1 is going to buy the program. So 100 calls, 10 people interested, 5 to do the analysis, 3 are going to show interest, you're going to end up closing 1. Now, if I tell you that right now, you may get discouraged. Say, well, you know what? That sucks. But you know what? I took it the other way. I was putting in my notepad the no's. So I was counting the no's. So 75 no's, 80 no's, 85, I'm not interested. And I was getting excited. I was saying, okay, you know, I'm getting closer to the yes. I'm getting closer to the yes. Now, as you go on and get experience on this thing, you have a way to present it and a way to explain it. You know, you will find out that every 10 people that you come in contact with and you do the analysis, you know, a good 6, 7, or 8 are going to buy it. So now the ratio is even higher. You know, my closing ratio is like 80% because I don't sell it. I explain it. I explain what they have without the MMA. And then I will explain the difference. And the client, they buy it, not because they want it, they buy it because they need it. And when you buy something because you need it, it's an investment. When you buy something because you want it, it's a cost. It's an expense. So don't sell it, explain it. And when you try to recruit agents, ask them what they wanted to do. Ask them if they are reframing themselves. Ask them how they're going to recalculate your life right now. And then ask them if they have recovered from whatever experience they had in the past. If you do that, if you teach them that by helping people, you will make a lot of money, then the money will follow. They will believe in you. And now it's time for you to be the leader. It's time for you to teach him and train him and pass on the knowledge. So those are the 3 questions that I've been doing. And that's how I recruited 15 people, I think, in 2 days. So that's it, Steve.
Well, Flavio, that was fantastic. Hey, we appreciate you sharing your success. Well, we appreciate you sharing your success and the things that you're doing. Again, I took a page full of notes. Are you going to be doing the same thing after the pandemic? Or how are you going to get yourself ahead? What are you going to do? Because there's no doubt many people have fallen behind financially. And going back to their regular jobs not going to move them ahead. What are you going to do to get you back ahead? Fantastic question. If you just do it for the money, you get 10 no's, you're going to quit. Hey, that's exactly so true. As soon as you said that, I said, isn't that the truth? So, Flavio, thank you for your wisdom and knowledge and sharing that with us tonight. And we look forward to you doing some great things. And we'll talk to you again. Be safe, my friend.
Thank you very much, Steve. Have a great day.
Okay. Thank you. Hey, our next guest is Dr. Joan Haakonstad. Joan is a fantastic person. We had an opportunity to talk the longest that we have since I've been back with the company, now about 7, almost 8 months. We spent some time together this week, and it was really good. Got to know Joan a little bit more, trying to, understand what are her business philosophies, what does she do, what does she think about, building the business and recruiting and training and those types of things. And we had a great conversation, and I appreciate the time that we took, and we're going to do that again some more this week and sharing in the successes of building a great business. And so we're looking forward. She's a fantastic trainer. I've been on some of her trainings. I've heard her speak. She does a great job of training. And so, Joan, if you would share a few minutes with us on the things that you have success as you talk to people and opening the doors with them.
Oh, absolutely, and thank you so much. Yes, we have had fantastic calls, and I'm looking forward to many more. Thank you for allowing me to be on the call, and great job, Flavio. Great job, Darlene. You've set the bar high for me, so thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Remember, everybody, nothing happens if you don't start the conversation. You don't get any recruits. You don't get any sales. You don't get to help anybody. You don't get to join that crusade. You don't get to change somebody's life. Nothing, squat, nada, nothing happens. So you need to be prepared. You need to be ready to start that conversation that matters. So my suggestion is to have about 2 to 3 different commercials and have those commercials ready to go. In fact, practice them and practice them now. These should be shorter. They should be at most about 15 seconds. And you need to be able to have that 15-second response to the question of what do you do for a living? Or what have you been up to if you're running into a friend you haven't seen in a while? So you need to be prepared to answer those questions. You need to have a different type of commercial for going to a networking group and going to a Chamber of Commerce event and responding to that type of question. It needs to be short. It needs to be concise. It needs to be exciting and engaging, and it needs to be geared to start the conversation. It's not meant to be a fire hydrant where you blow people away. I can't tell you how many times I've attended networking groups and said, hey, well, what do you do for a living? And 5 minutes later, I feel like I'm stuck and I'm glazing over and thinking, oh, my goodness gracious, how do I politely get away from this? So it needs to be short, concise, engaging, effective, efficient, compelling. So practice something. Write down 2 to 3 different things and start practicing. I would suggest, well, actually, let me give you a couple suggestions first, or a couple ideas first. One example could be, hey, I have the best job in the world. I'm helping people take control of their finances and their futures, and I earn great money doing so. Does that sound like something that would interest you? And if they respond favorably, say, gosh, which part of that interests you? Is it more of taking control of your finances and future, or is it more earning great money? I was always taught, I'm actually a shrink by training, so I did not have a sales background. So when I did finally get into this, my mentor actually suggested that you do the, well, you know how, identify a problem, and then show how you solve it. So as an example, gosh, you know how most people spend most of their life in debt, paying on things like credit cards, auto loans, student loans, and even mortgages for what seems like forever? Well, I show people how to beat the banks at their own game and pay off those loans as quickly as possible. Maybe you need something even shorter. Maybe it really needs to be more of an elevator thing. It could be, I'm a banking strategist. I'm an interest cancellation expert. One of my agents used to sing the song to Debt Busters. So she would say, I'm a Debt Buster instead of Ghostbusters. You really don't want me to sing, so I won't go down that path. But nonetheless, she would do that, and it matched her personality. It was fantastic. Remember, funny is money. So if you are naturally funny, have that be part of your commercial. If you're not naturally funny, do not have that be part of your commercial. Your commercial needs to be something that matches your personality. So it needs to be that engaging. So whatever you think is a good fit, it needs to have enough information that's going to get that person to ask for more information. So remember, keep it simple, and remember, effective, efficient, concise. Your goal is not to confuse the person, because a confused person will not ask for more questions. They'll look at you like, oh my goodness gracious, I feel like a silly head, and they will turn around and walk away. So your goal is not to confuse them. Your goal is to engage them, get them excited. My strongest suggestion is to practice on a friend or family, maybe a sibling, a colleague, and ask them what they would need to hear to move forward. Now, I always train on exactly what Darlene had said and what Steve had talked about with the form. Ask about family, occupation, recreation, and then and only then would you deliver your message. So, but nowadays, you can kind of make that a little bit more concise. You might call up somebody you haven't spoken with in quite some time and say, gosh, I've been thinking about you. How's this pandemic affected you? And really go down the route that Flavio was talking about. I thought that was fantastic. How has this pandemic affected you? Do you know anyone looking for an additional source of income that maybe they need to augment what they're currently doing? Or maybe do you know anybody that's looking to pay down that debt so they're never in this position again? Remember that definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting different results. So be prepared for those types of things. Create those messages. Now, when you are doing that form or when you are asking those questions about pandemic, how will you transition to deliver that message? I already talked about that. Do you know anybody looking for an additional source of income or anybody looking to pay down debt? I am not very creative. Let me call it like it is. I'm truly not creative. I don't have this magic wand. So I just keep it simple. I ask people, have you ever heard about the Money Max Account program? Yeah, that is my transition. Whew, aren't you impressed? Have you ever heard of the Money Max Account program? Most people say no. Very few people say yes, but honestly, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to follow it up with the same thing. The Money Max Account program is a web-based financial GPS. It looks at income, debt, and monthly expenses, and it mathematically calculates the fastest way for you to pay off your debt. For example, my husband, Eric, and I, we're set to have our 29-year mortgage paid off in only 9.1 years. We're saving over $327,000 in interest and almost 20 years of payments. And we did this without refinancing. Our monthly payments remain the same, and there's no change to our monthly budget. Would you like to see if you qualify? That took me less than 30 seconds. And that gives a fairly good overview of what the program is. It inserts my story, and it identifies whether or not somebody is interested in moving forward. So I found this to be fairly effective, whether I'm recruiting or selling. I always start with the program because the agent that you're recruiting has to have the buy-in to that. So I found that to be honestly one of the best ways to create that conversation. So I know that we're running out of time, so I'm going to keep my time pretty darn short. Really, the best way to find your commercial is to get out there and really have real-world experience. Really get out there and do on-the-job training. Don't worry about making mistakes. Trust me, you're going to make them. I still do. I probably made several mistakes today while talking here. But the reality is the person in front of you doesn't know what you were going to say. So they have no idea if you made a mistake. But you can go back and make tweaks based on what you saw worked and what didn't work. Your commercial should be a living document that you're changing and adjusting to make it better, to make it more you. So remember, network on purpose, network everywhere. Don't be a secret business owner, and get out there and start that conversation that matters. Steve?
Joan, you did a fantastic job. I really appreciate it. I took, again, great notes. I like things, the little things you say, like, I like the part you said, look, if you're a funny person, you can be funny. If you're not funny, don't push it. Don't try to be something that you're not. Be yourself. I love that kind of stuff. Be engaging. How's the pandemic affected you? Again, kind of going off what Flavio said, that is something that we got to think about. How are people going to get back on their feet? Have you heard about the Money Max account? What a great Look, there's nothing like your story. Nothing. Nothing beats your story. And to share that with people truly does open the doors. Joan, thank you very much for your time and your effort and for sharing that with us. We really do appreciate it. Hey, we're going to end up with a guy that, thank you. We're going to end up with a guy that I've known here for close to 30 years, and I'm telling you, there's nobody better at business, at training, at helping people, at building a business. He's just a phenomenal person. And we're going to ask Rich to wrap this up for us tonight and share some of his words of wisdom that he has. So, Rich, if you would, kind of wrap our call up for us this evening, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Steve. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I'll try to keep this a little brief as well to be conscious of time. And quite frankly, I think content was shared. Darlene is one of the best salespeople we have in the company, so she has definitely developed a lot of really powerful vernacular to communicate the message of what we do. And Joan is one of the more methodical trainers. I kind of shared the floor with her at the convention, and so it's a joy to do it again here on the call. But I think I'm actually going to springboard a little bit on what Flavio talked about. And as opposed to giving you, some specific coin pitches, if you will, or elevator speeches and all this stuff, I've done plenty of video content, recordings, and calls and so forth where I've kind of shared a lot of those. But I want to take a little bit different approach here, especially because I'm going to be being short with time. But I really want you to think about the basis of what Flavio talked about a few minutes ago, and that was stop pitching. Stop trying to go for the canned speech. Stop trying to go for, the quick little pickup line, so to speak. In the dating world, whether people enjoy it or not, it's a treacherous landscape at times. And I think oftentimes most women will tell you that they hate guys that have pickup lines, right? Be yourself. Be authentic. Be sincere. When I was a young kid, my mom used to tell me, if you're going to give a compliment, be sincere and be specific. Don't just say something generic that anyone else says. I think being present to the moment, and Charles Carlton and I talked about this a few weeks ago on a training call, and I think that sometimes we're so focused on what we're going to say, we're not actually allowing ourselves to be present in the moment with what is happening, what's happening in the world right now, what's happening in society, but also what's happening potentially in the life of the person you are dealing with. I will tell you that I think in spite of, I'm hopelessly flawed like everyone, but I think one of my great strengths is I've always been very perceptive, and I've been good at saying the right kind of things to the people at the right time. And I think it's also because I'm observant, and I actually take the time to evaluate and study what somebody's body language is, what they're looking like, how they're acting like. And I think there's something really powerful about that. I hope that this whole stay-at-home order and this whole quarantine time has given all of you the opportunity that it has for me, which is really the opportunity to reflect, to regroup, and to reconnect with what and who is really important. And I think that everybody has been brought back to a very humble place in many respects. The basics of spending time with your family, just being together, calling people you haven't spoke to in a while. And you're not the only one. Everyone, to some degree, has been brought back to this unique, special place in their life in terms of what they're going through. And I really think that is probably the single most genuinely authentic thing that you could share and connect with somebody at this point. And so I really invite you to consider, instead of trying to come up with the quippy response or the great coined elevator speech, why don't you just share how you feel? Instead of telling somebody or selling or pitching, ask people how they're doing. Actually take a little longer than you normally would. When you ask somebody how they're doing and they're like, I'm good, you're like, are you really? Right? Because people are going through a lot right now. When you can actually make a connection that's authentic, and you can actually relate to people, and you can help them appreciate that you're actually concerned about how they're feeling. And I don't mean staged and contrived. I mean genuine and authentic. You're going to find you're going to get a far, far better response than anything else that you could possibly say. And, I'll tell you on that note, I think sometimes we underestimate the impact of what we do, the power of what our product is able to do. And I think it's important that you not get caught up in the minutia of what our system does, because it's easy to fall victim to being so enamored by what our product does and how incredible it is and how amazing it is that we forget at the end of the day, all people really want to know is that it's going to be okay, that they're going to be able to retire with some degree of peace of mind and dignity, that they're going to be able to pay their bills, that they're going to be able to put their kids in college, that they're hopefully going to be able to retire at a reasonable age. And none of that is typically possible if they're overwhelmed and shackled with the burdens of debt. You see, one of our goals is to convert debt to wealth, but aside of the fact that in order to have a stable future, to have financial independence, or even just financial security, the peace of mind that comes with knowing that they don't have to worry about money, whatever their budget or their lifestyle may be. But they can't do that if they're unable to eliminate the debt, because 2/3, sometimes 70, 80% of their budget is being dedicated to debt service, and they are a slave to it. 3 years ago, I had a very, very good friend of mine I grew up with, went to school with, was in his wedding. I helped him build his house, extremely close. He lost his job, and he just spiraled into depression. You see, growing up in construction, your ability to work hard is very, very important. A lot of your value is tied to that. And he ended up committing suicide. And it was horrible, and it was tragic, and he was in his 40s. And that wasn't because of what lotion or potion he took. That wasn't because of all these other extraneous things. It was because of the hopelessness that he was feeling as a result of, in his mind, his inability to be able to be the man of his family and take care of his household. 3 weeks ago, another friend of mine that I know fairly well through a really good friend of mine failed because of what's going on. Same thing. See, what we do is big. It's important. It's not about software. It's not about technology. It's not about United Financial Freedom. It's not about the Money Max account. It is genuinely about giving people the prospect that they have hope. And I think that's one of the most powerful things that we can do. Steve has said it so many times. We're not in the software business. We're not in the technology business. We are in the people business, and we are in the business of giving people hope. And I wanted to kind of end on that note because I think it is really, I get a lot of requests from people to ask me specifics about what to say and how to say different things to various people, individuals, and professionals, and so forth. Well, it's a whole different story, but just start reconnecting with people. You're going to gain their trust and respect, and they're going to feel motivated to want to open up with you. So, Steve, I think I'm going to leave it there, but I certainly hope that helps. Appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this forum of speakers. Some great, great content. We've got some great things happening. I think this has been a wake-up call for a lot of people. The first 2 or 3 weeks, a lot of people were in panic mode, but I can tell you, over the last 3, 4, 5, plus 6 weeks, people have really started to realize, wow, this is a wake-up call. We need to get our financial house in order. Everyone knows they need to be on a budget. Everyone knows they need to be a better steward, manage their money. But when things are good, we don't really pay attention to the dollars and cents like we should. And I think this situation has served as a very, very powerful reset and a very humbling reminder of how fragile we can be, the importance of getting our finances in order, getting out of debt, having reserves, savings money, and living a simpler lifestyle. I love that we are a company that echoes that sentiment of getting out of debt, living within your means, and saving and having money in reserves in the future. And that is really a powerful thing. And certainly I'm proud and thankful to be a part of it.
Well, Rich, you're always dynamic, and what you have to say always has great meaning to it, and I really appreciate it, and all the things that you do and what you represent as a man and as a human being who cares for his fellow man. And I believe we have thousands of people in our company that are truly good people, and I'm proud to be associated with the company. Thanks, everyone, for being on the call. Our speakers, you did a fantastic job. Appreciate everything that you did. We look forward to doing this next Tuesday. Let's go have a great week. Everyone, please be safe. Take care of yourself. And everyone have a great evening and a great week. Good night, everyone.
Good night.